اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: وعليك السلام. قال: إني أجد في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به، وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصيي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء، فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرفي الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم، وسلم لمن سالمهم، وعدو لمن عاداهم، ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت سماء مبنيا ولا أرضا مدحيا ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئا ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري، إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا رب يتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام، ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري، إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال أبي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. صلوات صل على محمد وآل محمد. الفاتحة.
مؤمنين سلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Can I please request the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha for Marhuma Zarabai Ghulam Ali Kimji, for whom tonight's program has been sponsored, and for all Marhumin, Surah Al-Mubarakatul Fatiha. The Ladies Committee, inshallah, are organising a Ladies Milad program on the 12th of March at 2 p.m. The program will include a mushaira and a children's parade in honour of our 12th Holy Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. All children who would like to participate between the ages of 5 to 13 should please contact Sister Fatma Akil no later than Thursday the 16th of February. More details about the Milad program will inshallah follow by email. Inshallah, this evening we have a Kahoot quiz for you. So I'd like to invite you all to get your smartphones ready, and we'll be showing the login code on screen. Whilst everyone is logging in for the Kahoot, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank, on behalf of the Jamaat, all of the ladies and the volunteers that have helped to contribute towards the preparation of today's Tabarruk, which you can see beautifully presented towards my left over here. Can I please ask that for the marhumin of all of those who have contributed to tonight's Tabarruk, let us please recite one more Surah Al-Mubarakatul Fatiha. It was inevitable that I think the Kirpuri would be making an appearance. So I'm sure most of you are familiar by now, but if in case you're not, you just go to kahoot.it and punch in the code that you see on screen. Okay, inshallah, we'll give about another minute or so for people to log on, and then we'll start off with the quiz. Still people logging in thick and fast, so we'll give it another minute or so, inshallah. May I suggest that as people are logging in honor of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam, let us please recite 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Is there anyone else on the gent side that's still logging in? Okay, final call for participants. Looks like we are settled at 35 participants. So inshallah, let's commence the quiz. Bismillah, let's go for it. So, Sufro quiz. First question coming up now. Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq. Imam Ja'far is known as as-Sadiq. Who was it that gave him this title? Was it the Holy Prophet, Imam Ali, his father Imam Baqir, or his mother? Just a few seconds left. 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. So Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq was born on the 17th of Rabi' al-Awwal in 83 AH or 702 CE in the city of Medina. It was in fact his great-grandfather, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, who named him this way because he would be the most honest person in his speeches and his talks. So, Kirpuri straight to the top of the leaderboard. Okay, next question. Question number 2. What was the name of the mother of Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam? What was the name of the mother of our 6th Holy Imam? People very quick with their answers, mashallah, almost 30 responses, just a couple of seconds left. So, I'll just talk you through. So, Lady Samana al-Maghribiya was in fact the mother of our 10th Holy Imam, Imam al-Naqi, Imam Ali al-Naqi al-Hadi alayhi salam. Lady Sabika was the mother of our 9th Imam, Imam Jawad alayhi salam. Hamida, Lady Hamida, was the mother of our 7th Imam, alayhi salam, and in fact it was Farwa who was the mother of our 6th Imam, though her name was actually Fatima. Okay, let's see how the leaderboard is after a couple of questions. Okay, got a nice lead there for 2 questions. So, let's move on to the next question. Where was Imam Sadiq alayhi salam born? Makkah, Medina, Najaf, or Kufa? Fantastic. So majority got that answer correct. Congratulations. He was indeed born in Medina. We know that his father, Imam Muhammad Baqir alayhi salam, founded many schools and madaris in the city of Medina. In fact, the next question relates to an incident that occurred when Imam Sadiq was only 11 years old, when he entered one of these schools or the madaris of his noble father in the city of Medina. But before that question, let's have a look at the leaderboard. Okay, we need Discourse, Ali Hussain, Wessex 1 and Chai following, but Kirpuri is still in the lead with a nice lead of about 800 points. Here's the next question. When Imam was only 11 years old, Imam Sadiq proved to the other students in the class that the earth cannot be round because... cannot be flat. The earth cannot be flat because... Get your answers in quick, only a few seconds left. Well done. So again, majority got that correct. It was in fact because of the way the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and the day and night change within a 24-hour period. It cannot be possible for the earth to be flat, with this being the case. In fact, this story was mentioned in a book compiled by 5 French scholars in Strasbourg in France with the title The Heart of Shia Scholarship. The book has been translated into Persian, Urdu, and is being now translated into English as well. But just an example of the knowledge of Imam Sadiq from a very young age of 11, mashallah. Okay. So still our leader is intact, but there's a few changes underneath. KM, Wessex 1, MK, and Badam Kir making up the rest of the leaderboard. Donut is the highest climber on that occasion. So the next question. Imam Sadiq was present in Karbala on Ashura, true or false? I hear some whispers of true and false, so let's see what's the answer. Fantastic. So the answer is in fact false. We know that Imam Sadiq's father, our 5th holy Imam, was present in Karbala, but he was very young at the time. So Imam Sadiq himself was not present in Karbala. However, during his childhood, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq was brought up under the guidance of his grandfather, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. Imam Sadiq was only 12 years old when his grandfather passed away. But during that time when he was brought up under the guardianship of Imam Sajjad, our 4th Imam, as we know, was known for his grief and remembrance of the tragic event of Karbala. And so witnessing this grief and remembrance of his grandfather had a profound effect on our 6th Imam, so much so that he felt as if he himself was present during the tragedy. He also reflected on the presence of his father, Imam Baqir alayhi salam, who was only around 3 years old in Karbala. And as a result of this, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam considered it his duty to arrange various gatherings or majalis in commemoration of the sorrowful event of Karbala. So well done to those 26 that got that question right. Let's go to the leaderboard. Okay, again, so we've got lead of over 1,000 there, which is looking good, and a couple of changes, and 8 players on a 3-answer streak there, which is nice. Okay, let's go on to the next question. How old was Imam Sadiq when his grandfather passed away? If you're listening, there was a clue from what I've already told you. Fantastic. So most of you are listening. Surprising number weren't, but anyway. So the answer was in fact 12 years old. So Imam Zain al-Abidin, the grandfather of our sixth Imam, as well as the remembrance of Karbala, he was also, of course, well known for his worship and for his du'as, which were in fact a means of tabligh for Imam al-Sajjad. So Imam Sadiq used to worship Allah in exactly the same way as his grandfather, often fasting during the daytime and spending his nights in ibadah. After his grandfather passed away, he remained under the guardianship of his father, Imam Baqir, until the age of 31, at a time when politics between the Umayyads and the Abbasids was rife, and many turned to Imam Baqir alayhi salam and subsequently Imam Sadiq to learn from them through their various schools and universities or madaris. So, pay attention because there may be some more hints in what in the descriptions between the questions. But let's have a look at that leaderboard. Okay, so we've got a couple of people climbing up. Badam Kir. Looks like the food items are dominating so far. If you have just joined, by the way, in fact, okay, we'll go on to the next question. So we'll move on. So I mentioned the political strife at the time. What was the slogan that the Abbasids formed in their power struggle against the Umayyads? What was the slogan that the Abbasids took on to give themselves more credibility? Yes, well done to the 13 who got that correct. So during the last phase of the Umayyad rule, the Abbasids were actively engaged in anti-Umayyad activities until they eventually took over power from the Umayyads. Interestingly, the Abbasids tried to gain the support of people by campaigning in favor of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, and they pledged that when the Umayyad state toppled, the Khilafah would be returned to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. However, as we know, the Abbasids did not stick to their pledge, and through different forms of political maneuvering, established themselves on the seat of Khilafah, and then subsequently showed great enmity towards the Ahlul Bayt and their followers. Despite this, the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam would never stoop to the level of the political trickery that was being engaged in by the Abbasids at the time. The first Abbasid Khalif was known as as-Saffah, and after him was Mansur. Mansur in particular was known for his persecution of the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam, and it was during this time that Mansur gave the Shia the name of the Rafidun, the rejectors. He also coined the term Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat in order to promote a sect against the followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam. And during this time, anyone who was found to support the Ahlul Bayt was arrested, imprisoned, and killed. In particular, many of the descendants of Imam Hassan alayhi salam were killed, and some of them were even buried alive in the city walls around the city of Baghdad. And even today, if you go to Baghdad, you can sometimes see on some of the city walls there are inscriptions that read that some of the descendants of Imam Hassan alayhi salam were buried in the building of these walls. So let's take a look now at the leaderboard. MK up into third place, but still looking tasty at the top of the leaderboard. Okay, so before we go on to the next question, during the life of our sixth Imam, many would come to the Imam for true knowledge, and he was held in high esteem amongst the people. This is why he was given titles such as Al-Fadil, the virtuous. He was called so because he was the best and most knowledgeable of the people of his time, not only in religious affairs but also in various scientific fields. So we know that Mansur, the Abbasid Khalif, would try to bring scholars from around the Muslim world to compete with the Imam in order to try and undermine him, but none of them came even close to matching him in any kind of debate. So let's move on to the next question, and that is, how many students did Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam have under him? How many students did Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq have under him? Okay, fantastic. So majority correct there, good job. As well as the religious sciences, the Imam would also teach students mathematics, chemistry, medicine, and astronomy. Jabir ibn Hayyan, the famous pioneer of physics, chemistry, and mathematics, was also one of the students of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq, who wrote about 400 treatises based on the instructions of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Let us now take a look once again at the leaderboard. Fantastic. So the top 4 stay in place, and we've got I think, in 5th place. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So Imam Sadiq was. In fact, yeah, let's move on to the next question, and this is a multi-select, so you can select as many as are applicable. Which languages was Imam as-Sadiq fluent in? Which languages was Imam as-Sadiq fluent in? If you have just joined, by the way, you can still log in using kahoot.it, and the game pin is displayed at the bottom of the screen. So the answer, interestingly, is all of them. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was familiar with all spoken languages. He is reported to have said, "You can speak in any language, for I can understand you." And we have incidents narrated by some of his students where people from foreign lands would come and visit the Imam and witness Imam having a conversation in a completely foreign language, and they'd just be completely astounded. But that is in fact the case, that the Imam was able to speak all of the languages. So well done for if anyone got all of those. Okay, fantastic. So leaderboard, MK is up to 2nd place, and KM, the other way around, is in 4th place. Looks like has dropped off the leaderboard, unfortunately. Okay, so let's go. In fact, before we go to the next question, hold there for a moment. So during the life of our 6th Holy Imam, he was known for his hospitality, his charity, and the helping of the needy in secrecy, and his fair treatment for the poor relatives, and for those who were suffering difficulties within society. So one story to demonstrate the good virtue of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq. Once a pilgrim was visiting the Prophet's mosque in Medina, and he fell asleep whilst inside the mosque. When he woke up, he hurriedly kind of searched his belongings, and he couldn't find his money purse, which had contained 1,000 dinars. So he realized that this purse was missing. So he looked around and he saw Imam as-Sadiq praying not too far from him. So he went to the Imam and he accused him of having taken his money purse. The Imam asked, what did this purse contain? And he was told that it contained 1,000 dinars. So the question is coming up now. So let's move on to the question. And the question is, when the Imam was accused, how did he respond? When the Imam was accused of taking these 1,000 dinars, how did he respond? He told the man to come to his house where he gave him 1,000 dinars. He brought him home, served him food, and prayed for his forgiveness. He told the man why we shouldn't accuse without evidence, and he didn't take the money as he was busy in prayer. I hope you had enough time to read that because it was a bit tight for me. But congratulations, most of you got that right. So 17 with the correct answer. So he told the man to come to his house, where he gave this man the exact amount that he said was missing. Now, interestingly, when the stranger went back to the mosque, so he went back to the mosque, he was satisfied with what the Imam had done. And once again, he checked his belongings, and as it so happened, he found that money bag. It was actually there all along. Greatly ashamed of his conduct, he came back to the Imam, he apologized and asked him to take his money back. And Imam replied with these words, "We never take back what we give away. But if you feel guilty about it, then give it to the poor in the town." And this is exactly what this gentleman did. He gave all of that money in charity to the poor people within the city of Medina. So a beautiful example there of the virtue and good nature of our sixth holy Imam alayhi salam. So let's take another look at the leaderboard. Okay, so the lead is opened up to about 1,200 points or so, and a good 1,500 points between second and third. Ya Ali is on the leaderboard in fourth, and KM down in fifth. And we've got a few people on a streak of 4 questions, which is good. So let's keep that going, inshallah, and see if we can catch Kirpuri. So Imam was poisoned in the 10th year of the reign of Mansur, upon the order of Mansur. So let's go to the next question. And the question is, how old was Imam when he passed away? How old was he when he passed away? 33, 43, 53, 63. I think we've almost got all the answers in. I can see that some have definitely joined because we're up to 43 answers. And yes, so 14 got that correct. So that was a good point scorer for those who got that one right. 14 correct. The answer is 63. And let's take a look at the leaderboard. Ooh, second and third place lost some ground there. And fourth place is hot in pursuit. Okay, let's go to the next question. The next question is, where is Imam as-Sadiq alayhi salam buried? Where is Imam as-Sadiq buried? Wadi as-Salam Najaf, Kufa, Jannatul Baqi Medina, or Damascus? And well done, almost everyone got that correct. Imam Ja'far Sadiq indeed is buried in the cemetery of Jannatul Baqi in the city of Medina by the side of his father Imam Mohammed Baqir alayhi salam. Inshallah, we pray for the day when the sites in Jannatul Baqi are rebuilt to their former glory, inshallah. Imam, in fact, let's go to the leaderboard. In fact, I think that might have been the last question. I think it was. So let's have a look at the final standings. Third place, Badam Kir. Second place, MK has gone up to second place right at the end. And I think no surprises here for the winner. Congratulations, Kirpuri. I don't know who that is, but I think as your prize you can come and collect your Kirpuri first. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum. So, before we end, Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam supplied his son, Imam as-Sadiq, with many pieces of advice. So let's end by sharing off one of those pieces of advice. He says, "My son, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has hidden 3 things inside 3 things. He has hidden his satisfaction in obedience to him. So do not belittle any act of obedience, as it may lead to his satisfaction. He has also hidden his wrath in disobedience. So do not belittle any act of disobedience to him, as it may bring about his wrath. And he has hidden his holy men amongst his creatures. So do not belittle any of his creatures, for one of them may be among his holy men. Finally, Sufro is an occasion where we gather in the remembrance of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and pray for our hajat through his wasila. Whilst the authenticity of the story of Sufro has not been established, the concept of seeking our hajat through his wasila is indisputable, and so this event has formed within our culture in many of our communities. Let us therefore end with a dua through the wasila of our sixth holy Imam alayhi salam. Ya Allah, we pray for the Muslims around the world suffering hardship, oppression and difficulty, in particular for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey and Syria and their families. Ya Allah, please enable us to derive maximal benefit from these holy months of Rajab, Sha'ban and the holy month of Ramadan, and make us amongst the true Shia so that we may be worthy of the name Ja'fari Ithna Ashari. Ya Allah, please bless this community and all those gathered here this evening. Forgive our marhumin, strengthen our bonds of wilaya between the mu'mineen, and enable us to execute the will of our 12th holy Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. We pray that the thawab of our good deeds goes to our parents, our teachers, the scholars, the shuhada, and those who have a right over us. Can I please ask that we end with the recitation of 3 loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أفضل الصلاة محمد وآل محمد ہے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق اے دین کے سلطان امام جعفر صادق اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق جواب مومنہ جواب سلطان امام صلوات پڑھو ذکر ہے چھٹے امام کا نور خدا شہنشاہ عالی مقام کا یا رب ہمیں توفیق دے مد ہے امام کا صدقہ دے ہمیں حضرت صادق کے نام کا ہے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق جواب میں سلطان امام کیا صلی علی شان ہے مولا کی ہمارے اللہ کے پیارے ہے پیغمبر کے ہے پیارے گھر وقت مصیبت میں کوئی حضرت کو پکارے فی الفور مدد کرتے ہیں زہرا کے دلارے ہے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق اے دین کے یا جعفر صادق تیری مدحت محال ہے، قابو نہ دل کو ہے نہ زباں کو مجال ہے، میں ہوں غلام ایک میری کیا مجال ہے، حیدر کا جگر فاطمہ کا نو نہال ہے، اے عاشق سبحان امام صدیق جواب ازم امینو سلطان امام، اے احمد مرسل کے خلاف حضرت صادق، گلزار امامت کا شرف حضرت صادق، ہے بحر سخاوت کی صدف حضرت صادق، نور نظر شاہ نجف حضرت صادق، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، اے دین امام، باب المراد آپ ہو اے کل کے مقتدا، حاجت روائی کیجئے اے رحمت خدا، خالی کوئی حضور سے در سے نہیں پھرا، مقبول بار گاہ ہماری ہو التجا، ہے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، آقا تمہیں ہے احمدو حیدر کا واسطہ، زہرا کا اور شبرو شبیر کا واسطہ، باکر کا اور عابد مزتر کا واسطہ، دکھ درد اور رنج و علم سے کرو رہا، ہے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، اے دین جواب مومنو، مولا سوال لائے ہیں خالی نہ پھیرنا، دامن ہمارے گوہر مقصود سے برنا، نظر منائی ہم نے جو مقبول ہی کرنا، دربار سے مایوس کسی کو نہ پھیرنا، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، ہے دین اور کاظم نو سامرا کا شوق ہے برا، مشہد میں اور نجف میں زیارت کرے ادا، یا جعفر صادق میری عرضی ہو پذیرا، روضہ میں دیکھوں زینب علیا مقام کا، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، اے دین ہر صبح شام میری دعا ہے میرے مولا، ہے عشق مدینہ سے میرا دل تڑپ رہا، یا سبت مصطفیٰ ہمیں بلوا لو کربلا، چومے زری ہے پاک شہنشاہ کربلا، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، اے دین کے جواب مومن، یا جعفر صادق میری عرضی بحال ہو، فیاض ہو کریم ہو حیدر کے لال ہو، شیعوں کو دو جہاں میں نہ رنجو ملال ہو، جو دشمنان دین ہے ان پر زوال ہو، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، ہو آپ سخی ابن سخی اے میرے آقا، جو کہ ہے بیمار انہیں جلد ہو شفا، لا ولد کو اولاد ہو اے خاص خدا، ہو شاد دو جہاں میں محیب آپ کے صدا، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، دین کے پروردگار جعفر صادق کا واسطہ، مانگا جو کچھ حضور سے جلد ہو عطا، ہم واسطہ دیتے ہیں تجھے آل ابا کا، سب شیعوں کی مقبول الہی ہو التجا، اے عاشق سبحان امام جعفر صادق، امام جعفر صادق، افضل الصلاۃ محمد و آل محمد، اللہم صل علی محمد۔
صلوات پر محمد و آل محمد۔ السلام علیکم یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم یا امیر المومنین سید الوصیین، السلام علیکہ بی فاطمۃ الزہرا سید نساء العالمین. السلام علیکہ حسن مجتبی. السلام علیکہ حسین شہید کربلا. السلام علیکہ اولاد الحسین اصحاب الحسین خصوصاً سید الفضل عباس ابن امیر المومنین وقاسم ابن حسن ومسلم ابن عقیل وحانی ابن عروہ وحبیب ابن مظاہر والحور شہید ریاح. السلام علیکہ حبیب زینب ام المصائب بنت امیر المومنین. السلام علیکہ حبیب ام کلثوم. السلام علیکہ حبیب سکینہ بنت الحسین. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکہ مولا و ابن مولا. السلام علیکہ غریب الغربا بادشاہ خراسان. السلام علیکہ مولا ابن مولا. السلام علیکہ غریب الغربا بادشاہ خراسان. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکہ مولانا صاحب العصر و زمان الامان الامان الامان. السلام علیکہ خلیفۃ الرحمن. السلام علیکہ شریک القرآن. السلام علیکہ مولانا صاحب العصر و زمان. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. صلوات.
صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.